I've got the recording up and going now, so let's get started. So today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, so we have 2 days left before fall break, and we have after fall break, you guys will be coming. You'll be A students and B students. A will be here on Monday and Tuesday. No one will be here on Wednesday. B students will be here Thursday and Friday, but we will continue to run this class just like this. And I'm sure you're hearing this from all your teachers, but I just want to make sure it's clear. If you are an A student, you're here, and B students, you should be logging in just like this every day that you're at home. A students, vice versa, on Thursday and Friday, okay? Wednesdays, we will not hold class, but you'll have work to do, okay? So it'll be just like this. So y'all need to make sure you are aware of that. So today's goal is to finish capitalization practice 2. Many of you have finished that, and that's great. You worked ahead. And if you are finished, and only if you're finished with practice 2, you may take the quiz. Now, the quiz is not available in No Red Ink for 5 more minutes because I wanted to introduce this before you take the quiz, okay? So here's what I'm going to say about the quiz. It is open book, open internet, open notes. As long as you're working individually, you're okay. So you can't like grab somebody and work together on the quiz, but you can use the notes that I put in Echo, this PowerPoint slide here that we have that has a bunch of that information on it. You're welcome to use that, okay? Some people have opened up their practice and then the quiz and looked at the practice while they looked at the quiz. That's okay. So there's no reason that you do bad on this, because when you go to write papers or you go to write anything, you always have that availability. For the most part, maybe except for an essay test maybe. But for the most part, you'll have access to grammar tools, okay? So I'm going to let you use those notes, and I encourages you to get good at using the notes when you're doing the practice, okay? Now, here's the thing about the quiz. Once you start the quiz, it will not tell you as you go if you got it right or wrong, okay? It will just go on to the next question. There's 20 questions, so you can take about a minute on each question. It'll take you 20 minutes. It's not very long, okay, compared to how long the practices are, okay? So it's kind of a one shot. And there isn't any, hey, Mr. Richard, I accidentally clicked the wrong button and hit submit. There's none of that, okay? So you need to be very careful when you're taking it. Double check before you hit submit every single time, because there's no resets on that, okay? Once it's done, okay? Now, if you get a question whenever it's over and you think it's saying you got it wrong, but you actually got it right, take a screenshot of it, email me it, and we'll take a look at that, okay? But if it's just because you clicked it wrong, then that's not going to work, okay? You need to take your time, get it correct, okay, because you got the one shot. And once you start the quiz, I highly suggest you finish the quiz once you start it, okay? Now, you can take the quiz anytime today, tomorrow, up to 3 o'clock tomorrow. After 3 o'clock, it is a 0, okay? You can take it for a late grade, but every day it's late, you're going to lose 10%. Do not wait on this quiz. Get the quiz done. Don't take a late grade on it, okay? So get it done. So if you finish the quiz today, and if you are, and looking at number 3, if you finish all your No Red Ink capitalization practices, then you finish the capitalization quiz, and you have no zeros in the World Studies grade book, you are done for the week, and you can have a good fall break. You don't even have to come to class tomorrow if you are done with all that, okay? But until you are done with all that, you should be attending my class, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over to the capitalization practice 2, and I'm going to run through that and kind of just work through each section, and you guys can be watching and learning and kind of doing it with me. You'll notice that it only takes me a short period of time to finish these, because if you know the rules, it's very quick, and you can kind of take notes or look at it as I'm going through it, and you can kind of work on it at the same time if you want to. If you are done with capitalization practice 2 and ready to take the quiz, you can go and do that, and you can kind of just leave the Google Meet or mute the Google Meet until maybe you have a question or something like that. But I can't answer questions on the quiz that's on your own other than your notes and everything, okay? So right now, if you are ready to take the quiz, you can go do so. If you want to work through practice 2, come with me, and we're going to go over to No Red Ink and do so. Okay. So if you're in this room and I think Skylar was the only one. If you're ready to take the quiz, you can go over there. But if you want to work through this with me and just kind of make sure you know it all, you can do that as well. It's up to you. So a student just asked, why is it called noredink.com? It's because traditionally when you have like an essay and a teacher gets it, they will mark up your paper with red ink whenever you have like something grammatically incorrect. And so you want no red ink in that case. So we're going to look at practice 2 right here. It's due today by 3 o'clock. And I'm just going to run through each of these with you all and complete them to help you all. So, and as it goes, I'm going to say it kind of gets more difficult through these. Like the first one's very easy, second one's pretty easy, and it just kind of gets a little more difficult as we go. So we can go through these pretty quick, actually. So this lesson, if we click on it, we can look at it quickly, and it says capitalize days of the week and capitalize months. We should know that by now, but in your writing, I'm noticing that you're forgetting to capitalize those, okay? Also, do not capitalize the word day or the word week or the word month because they're not proper nouns. They're not names, okay? So we do not capitalize those. Those are common nouns. So let's go to the practice. Okay, Neville Longbottom can hardly wait for November 4th. So it's November is capitalized. So we're good. Now here's something also I'll say on the quiz is when you get a quiz question, it could be from any of these sections. So you need to read through it and make sure you're looking for all the errors, okay? So John Richard has rehearsal with his band once a week. We don't capitalize week because it's a common noun. Because Lucius Malfoy had to finish his project by Tuesday, Tuesday is a name of a day, we capitalize, he couldn't go to work with his friends. All right, Thursday is capitalized. I'm going to go through these a little faster because I think we're getting the idea. We're looking for anything else that's not capitalized correctly. We're good. Okay, day is capitalized. It should not be. It's a common noun. It's not the name of a day or a month. So March is the name of the month, so we're good. We do capitalize that. Nothing else is incorrect. Okay, Mexico in August. August is the name of a month, so we capitalize August. I forgot. Sorry, I haven't been reading them out loud. I'll read them out loud. I forgot Luna Lovegood was traveling in Europe this month. Month isn't capitalized. That's correct. Last Friday, Minerva McGonagall surprised her neighbor by singing at his wedding. So Friday is the name of the day. It wasn't capitalized. We need to capitalize it. Because Sarabi's jazz band has a performance on Wednesday. Wednesday is a name of the week, day of week. We capitalize it. Harry Potter designed his own greeting cards for each holiday. So holiday is, it's not talking about a specific holiday like Christmas or Easter or Ramadan or whatever holiday. Ramadan's a Muslim holiday. So we do not capitalize that, okay? So we hit submit. Every January, Mr. Filch wishes he could hibernate like a bear until spring. So this one's a little bit tricky. Like, do we capitalize spring? And no, we don't because it is not a month or a proper noun. So we did it, okay? So that honestly took us, without my extra talking in between, took us like 2 minutes, okay? So if y'all have any questions on that one, let me know. Let's return to Pathway and look at our next one. So our next one is capitalizing streets, cities, and other places. That is a name of a street. So someone asked, is Main Street a name of a street? Yes, Main Street. So on this one, it's very similar to months and days. If it's the name of somebody, it's a proper noun, we capitalize it, okay? If it is not, like if we just say street, it is a common noun. We do not capitalize it. But if we say like Maple Street or Main Street or Jefferson Street or something like that, that is a proper noun, so we capitalize that, okay? So let's take this practice. So because Simba had an appointment on Maple Road, so Maple Road is the name of the road, proper noun, so we capitalize it. He decided to get some lunch nearby. Primrose Everdeen learned to surf the Pacific Ocean is the name of an ocean, a specific ocean, it is a specific ocean, the Pacific Ocean, so we do capitalize that. So Robbie lives on the same street as I do. So street is not a specific street. It's just a common word, so it's not the name, so we don't capitalize it. Harry Potter was one of the first people to walk over the new bridge. So nothing's capitalized here because they didn't call it a name of the bridge, okay? Lord Voldemort had to fly through Mexico on his way home. So Mexico is the name of a country, so we capitalize it. Unless Peter Pettigrew helps his cousin find Lake Avenue. Lake Avenue is the name of a street, so we capitalize it. They will not make it to the party on time. And you can see how these first couple ones are pretty easy. They're the name of it, we capitalize it. If not, we don't. So look down into the valley below. So it's not it's not Death Valley. It's not the name of the valley, so we don't capitalize it. Or Hagrid knew about the shortcut via Willow Road. Willow Road is the name of the road, so we capitalize it. 8 minutes in the gym. Katniss Everdeen taught me to water ski on Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is the name of the lake, so we put Lake and Michigan, capitalize. Draco Malfoy can't remember which state has the most theme parks, so we don't capitalize state because we're not talking about Kentucky or Indiana or anything like that. Nothing specific. Already a third of the way through. Cedric Diggory likes to vacation by the sea every summer, so it's not a specific sea. It's not saying the Adriatic Sea or the Mediterranean Sea or the Indian Sea. It's just sea. Say it again. So Lego is the name of a brand, so Lego is capitalized, yes. So Senna went camping near Lake Ontario with his friends. So Lake Ontario is the name of a lake. We're good to go. Gregor Goyle wrote an essay about the construction of Erie Canal. So Erie Canal is the name of the canal, so we do that. Unless she builds a time machine, Ginny Weasley won't make it to Maine. So Maine is the name of the state before the circus begins. So we do capitalize that. So boom, that took us 2 minutes. And that was with me talking and answering questions and stuff like that. So those are very quick, easy to do. If you're having trouble, let us know. We'll get some help to you, okay? So this next one's where we kind of get a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit of a step up, but it is very similar in the lesson that unless it is part of a name, you do not capitalize it, okay? So Peter brought President Obama a birthday present. So you capitalize president whenever it's part of the name. Hikaru is writing a book about General Lee. So General is capitalized. I called Dr. Martin. Okay, when is it not capitalized? Yeah, when there's no name, you don't capitalize it. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's look at this practice. So we got when Nala ran out of ideas on the video game, she asked her professor for help. So we didn't say Professor Plum or Professor Richard or Professor Douglas or Professor Susan or anything like that. So we do not capitalize it. Browsing invitation, Professor Moody. So Professor Moody is the name. Agreed to play a round of golf with Prince Robert. Oh, so we had something tricky here. We had one that was correct, but we have one that's incorrect. So Prince Robert is capitalized. Okay? So you got to be careful when you're reading these. I almost just went ahead and clicked it because it had that one right. When the school was choosing a new chancellor, Luna Lovegood took the appointment. Yeah, so we're good. If you're in my room and you're done with practice 2 and you're ready to take the quiz, you can go over to Miss Cecil's and take the quiz. Yeah, if they can go take the quiz. Yeah, they're allowed to leave. Yeah, you can leave me. Yeah. Sorry, yes. If you are done and you're ready to take the quiz, you can leave the Google Meet. But this is just so that you guys can see what you're doing and working through it with me. For those who need that, it's up to you. I'm going to give you that choice. So Lord Voldemort met Emperor Lee in an airport last night. So it's with a name, so we're good to go. I think that's Sam. So Sam is the name of someone, so is the nicest person in our class. Before Mrs. Sign was on the Buff Hagrid's neighbor, she had worked in a fashion magazine. Greeted warmly by his host, Severus Snape sat down for tea with Lady. So Lady is capitalized. So these are the tricky ones that you haven't heard of much. So that is with a name, so we do capitalize that. I think that Alicia Chang, so that's her last name, is the best teacher I've ever had. Harry Potter grew up next door to Frank Jimerson Sr., so that is capitalized. So they have been close friends for years. Hermione Granger had coffee with an Army lieutenant she met. So Army lieutenant is not capitalized because it's not with a name. Okay? Yep. So we don't capitalize. Before meeting Senator Gregory Goyle, nervously. This is not his name. That's not the senator's name because of that comma. This is a tricky one. So before meeting the senator, Gregory Goyle nervously practiced his speech in front of the mirror. So this one's a tricky one because it goes with a name, but it's not the name of the senator, okay, because of that comma. Before meeting the senator, which would be not capitalized, Gregory Goyle nervously practiced. So be careful with those. When Oliver Wood builds cities out of Legos, he likes to pretend he is emperor of his own tiny domain. So we do not capitalize emperor where there's no name. Someone asked earlier, do you capitalize Legos? Yes, because that's the name of the brand, the toy. So that stays capitalized. All right, another one done. All right, and it should be about halfway done now. So we turn back to pathway. We've got 4 more to go, but actually this one right here is going to knock out both of these. So family titles can be a little tricky, okay, and a little confusing, but I've got a neat little trick that you can do that makes it easier for you. So number 1 is if it's with a name, just like professor or doctor or general or Mrs. or Mr., those are always capitalized if it's with a name. So like Uncle Alan or Grandpa Bob or Aunt Susie or Uncle Dave, whatever it is, those are always capitalized with their names, okay? Yes. Cardinal directions are capitalized. Now, if they're not with a name, sometimes they are capitalized. And this is when you capitalize family titles that are used in place of the person's name. So the way that works is, let's take for female names, let's put Susie in there. And for male names, let's put Bob in there, okay? Just switch the name out. And if it works, then you capitalize it. For this one, example would be, don't tell Susie that Lou ate the cookie. So since I can put that in there and it makes sense, then we're good, okay? So don't tell Mom that Lou ate the cookie. So it's as a proper noun because you're using it in place of their name, okay? Now, do not capitalize family relationships if they are not used as part of all of the name, okay? So there's the trick. We're going to do that again on this one. Anne hoped her Susie wouldn't do her crazy dance again. Does that make any sense? No. It doesn't make any sense. That phrase does not make any sense. So you do not capitalize Mom in that instance. Let's do it with this one, Bob. So Dave's Bob went to law school at a young age. Doesn't work, so you don't capitalize. Let's go check this one up here. I was hoping to take Bob for a walk today. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you can put Bob in there. So if you can replace it with a name, you capitalize it. Okay, so it's a fun little trick you can do. So let's try this practice. So after Aunt Linda, so it's with a name, so we know that is capitalized. Started watching pro soccer. That is all Katniss Everdeen talked about. So we're good to go there. When Sirius Black and my uncle race against each other, I root for both of them. So can we replace uncle with Bob and it still works? When Sirius Black and my Bob race again. No, it doesn't make any sense, okay? So we do not capitalize it. Professor Moody tried not to disturb Dad when practicing his tuba. So can we replace Dad with Bob? So let's try. Professor Moody tried not to disturb Bob when practicing his tuba. Yes, that makes sense, okay? So we would capitalize Dad. Lord Voldemort took Grandma Nina skydiving. Okay, we know Grandma Nina is with a name, so that is their name. Grandma Nina is their name, so we're going to capitalize that. Mufasa and my grandpa are in the same tango class. So Mufasa and my Bob are in the, no, that doesn't make any sense. So we don't capitalize it. So you see how this trick makes it a lot easier to think about. And the reason is it's a common noun, not a proper noun whenever it is in that fashion. Simba taught Grandpa Joe, so it's with a name, so we capitalize it. Hamish Abernathy finally beat Uncle Bob, so it's with a name, we capitalize it. My sister told Dad that she wanted to join Oliver Wood's band, so can we say, my sister told Bob? Yes, so it stays capitalized. Considered the best baker in town, Pumbaa's grandma, so can we say Pumbaa's Susie finally? No, it doesn't make any sense. So we don't capitalize it. When Dad makes pancakes, he asks President Snow if he wants chocolate chip. So when Bob makes pancakes, yes, so it makes sense. We can replace Dad with Bob, and it makes sense. So we're good to go. Unless Ginny Weasley and her father show up soon. So unless Ginny Weasley and her Bob, no, it doesn't make any sense. We don't capitalize it. Because Grandma Rose is so good at poker, Cedric Diggory refused to play with her. Because Grandma Rose, so it's together, it's both capitalized, we're good. Since Grandma friended Rafiki on Facebook, the two of them were playing together. So since Susie friended Rafiki, that makes sense, so we can do it. Lucius Malfoy asked Mom if he could borrow the blender for a science experiment. Lucius Malfoy asked Susie if he could. Yeah, it makes sense. So we're good. Hagrid learned to play bass guitar from his aunt last summer. So from his Susie last summer, no, it doesn't make any sense. All right, that one's easy. So we're done with that now since we know that fun little rule. All right, we're down to two more. So let's look at this history, and so we're going to be dealing with social studies class, and you're going to have social studies class every year at OIA and in high school. Every high school does that. So capitalizing historical events and periods. So let's look at the lesson on this one. So again, it all goes back to, is it a proper noun? Is it a name of a historical event, a historical time and age? Then it is capitalized. If it is not, you do not capitalize. You also do not capitalize decades like the 21st century or the 1900s or the 19th century. You do not capitalize those, okay? But you do capitalize the names of events, okay? Now, there is one confusing one like this. Liza read about the Civil War in her free time. It is specifically talking about the American Civil War. So you do capitalize it, okay? But if you were to say this here, Christy was upset when she learned that there are civil wars in other countries. It's not talking about the specific Civil War of the United States. So it's not specifically talking about that. So that's a little confusing, so be careful with that one. So let's look at this practice. John Richard's teacher asked him to redo his homework assignment for the 15th century. We just talked about it, or 15th time. We don't talk about it, or we don't capitalize like century or 15th, those numbers. I'm on the historical events one. I think it's the third from the bottom one. Did you find it? Okay. And if I'm going too fast, you guys speak up. Let me know. Say, you got to slow down, Mr. Richard, because I'm trying to learn this one, okay? Okay. So, and yours is probably going to be different from mine, like as far as that goes. So Zazu's teacher spoke about the 17th century. So we don't capitalize 17th. Gregory Goyle didn't want to start a war. So war is not a specific war. We're not talking about World War I or the Korean War or something like that. So it's not capitalized. Severus Snape read a book about the American Revolution. That's a specific revolution, a specific war. So we do capitalize that. The Final Project, Vincent Crabbe wrote a story set in the Ice Age. The Ice Age is a specific time period, so we do keep that capitalized. Because the technology revolution was moving so fast, so technology revolution is the name of an event, we do capitalize that. Oh, what I miss? Okay, so we do not. I would argue that you do. So I might even report a problem on this one. Okay, it's not. Okay, so it's arguing that technology revolution isn't an actual historical event. I would disagree, but something good to know. My first one I messed up. Feeling excited, Moaning Myrtle got ready to watch the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the name of an event. So shouting as he crossed the finish line, Rafiki proudly beat his record marathon time. So it's not a specific marathon. So if it said Boston Marathon, we would capitalize it. So excitedly, Cena recounted everything he knew about the Vietnam War. So specific war. As a result of rainy weather, Timon had to cancel his picnic celebrating the World Series win. So World Series is the name of an event. World Series baseball. Mufasa found some drawings that he swears are from the Renaissance. Renaissance is the name of a time period, so we capitalize it. Bomb. Mom, it depends. If you hold on just a second, guys. If you can replace it with the name like Susie and it makes sense, then you do capitalize it. So read it out loud, and if you can replace it with Susie and it makes sense.
Steel and Susie.
Yep. Cho Chang wrote a research paper on different civil wars throughout history. So this isn't speaking about the specific civil war, so we don't capitalize it. During the power outage, Ron Weasley joked that he was living in the Stone Age. So Stone Age is specific, so we do capitalize it. While walking the beach, Mr. Filch found a message in a bottle from the 15th. We don't capitalize 15th century. Yes, so Chicago and Marathon are both capitalized because they're specific. That's a specific marathon. Oliver Wood likes to read historical novel from 18th century. We don't capitalize 18th century. Professor Moody likes to make up stories about life in the 19th century. We don't capitalize 19th century. When Gilderoy Lockhart gets into a rap battle, so this battle is not specific battle, okay? It's not like the Battle of Gettysburg or something like that. Living in a castle in the Dark Ages. So Dark Ages is a time period, so we do capitalize it, and we'll get it there. Lord Voldemort laughed at how different the Hollywood version of the Renaissance was from what he had studied in school. So Renaissance is a time period, Hollywood is a place, so we're good. Hagrid decided to research the history of the revolution in China. So it's not a specific name. It's not the Chinese Revolution, but it is talking about a specific place, so we do capitalize China. Ginny Weasley won the game of Trivial Pursuit by answering a question about the World Series. World Series is an event. You do capitalize it. Dressing backstage, Peter Pettigrew prepared for the play's final scene, which showed Napoleon's defeat at the Battle of Waterloo is capitalized. Okay, so here's another one where you got to say, is that of on the list of things that we don't capitalize? And it is, so we do not capitalize of. And we can always go back and look at that list right here. It's at the very top, and it is right there. You don't capitalize of. Now that he has had strong finishes in 3 small races, Pumbaa can compete in the Chicago Marathon. So we capitalize Chicago Marathon. We just had a question about that one. All right, we're good to go. We got one more. So, everybody, this is the toughest one, okay? The capitalizing political groups is the hardest one. So if you're in the room and you're struggling with that last one, capitalizing political groups, pay attention because I'm going to help you big time on this one. Do not. So that's like saying Susie's Bob went to the market. It doesn't make any sense. So everybody, no matter where you're at, pay attention to this so you can see that whenever you get to that point, okay? So the lesson here is if it is not part of a political party or a name of something in our political world, like the Congress or the Senate or the Supreme Court, if it's not the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or a Democratic senator or a Republican senator, you do not capitalize it, okay? So you don't capitalize like politics, okay? Or just Democratic, because these are still common words, okay? And this is something we will be doing with our in our class this year. So let's go look at the practice here. So Cho Chang tries to avoid political discussions with her friends. Political is not the name of a political party or any government official body that we have in the United States. So not political is not capitalized. Because of the parade, Zazu had to wade through the sea of Republicans to get to his car. So Republican is capitalized because that is the name of the party. So Democrats, Republicans, those are both capitalized because that is the name of the party. When a Republican congresswoman visited his school, Neville Longbottom asked his wife. So here's an interesting one. You have Republican. I'm showing you the answer here before we go on so you can see it. When a Republican congresswoman, so Republican is the name of the party, so we capitalize it, but we don't have the specific congressperson. So, but if it said when the Republican Rand Paul or Senator Rand Paul came to the school, you would capitalize Senator Rand Paul, okay, and Republican, all that. So it's a little complicated, but Republican only is capitalized, okay, because that is part of the party. It's a title. It is capitalized. No. So the question was, do you capitalize? We'll probably see this one, but do you capitalize democracy? No. Unless it's part of a name, and democracy isn't a specific name, it's a common noun. So it seems that Severus Snape has finally met someone more liberal than he is. So you can be a libertarian party, but liberal itself is not a proper noun, okay? It's a common noun. It just means to be more free, more lenient. Minerva McGonagall likes to stay informed about the causes of her political party. So that's not a specific name. Now, it said of the Republican Party, we would, but it's not a specific name. While volunteering for the Democratic Party is the name of the party, so we do capitalize Democratic Party. Liberal is not capitalized because that is not the name of a specific party. So President Snow was curious about the Republican view. So Republican is the name of a party, so we capitalize Republican. Okay, Democrat. Let me look at, here's a good example, okay? Lord Voldemort believes in following a democratic process. So democratic is a common noun. It just means democracy, okay? It means that letting everybody have a voice, okay? But so it is not capitalized, okay? Now, if it said following the framework of the Democratic Party, then it would be capitalized, okay? So we can see that it's not capitalized, okay? Unless it's talking specifically about the party. Does that make sense, DJ? Okay. Whenever Mr. Filch meets an influential Republican, so it's talking about the party, Republican Party, we capitalize it. Hermione Granger's band works as a democracy. So no, it's not talking about the party. It's just talking about the idea that everybody gets a voice. All right, and we're done. So we return to Pathway. That will finish up everything. I'll let you guys work on that. I'm going to go around the room, make sure people are doing well. If you finish, you are welcome to take the quiz today, or you can take the quiz tomorrow. Okay? Thank you.